What's up? It's your girl Sierra with Sierra's podcast. On my business journey, talking about the CPR business, y'all. So the first topic that I want to go over regarding this CPR business is I see a lot of questions that people ask. So many good questions. But the main thing that I see that people ask is they want to know, how much should I charge people? How much should I charge people to teach a CPR class? And that's a good question. It depends on where you at. This CPR business is something so good and lucrative because you can go all over the United States with it, y'all. You ain't got to just be in Cleveland. You don't have to just be in California. If you live in California, you could travel. If you're going on a vacation for 2 weeks, 1 week you could do your CPR classes, the next week you could chill, whatever. But just know that you could travel and teach, and there's so many different avenues that you can go with this. But how much should you charge? Alright. So first things first, you need to look around you. Okay, Google everybody around you. You need to know your competition. Who next door? Who around the corner? Who down the street? All these people that's doing the same thing as you. And this is for any business. How much should I charge, right? Look around to your competition. See how much they charge. Alright, so now you know what's the highest, what's the lowest that you can go based on your community. You don't want to go too low because you don't want to cheat yourself, right? You don't want to go too high because then people will be like, hey, let me shop around, go somewhere else, right? But you do want to, know your worth, right? Know your worth. All right, so you see, I see $65, $75, and $85 for a BLS class. And that's CPR, y'all, for healthcare providers, okay? If you on this CPR, into the CPR and want to do CPR business, you know what that class is, or in the healthcare field at all whatsoever. So a BLS class, you might see some people in Ohio, y'all, running the class from $65, $75, $85. So you know you want to get up in that price range. But you also want to try to figure out, why are they pricing the way they pricing? You got to think about your equipment that you got to get. The mannequins itself is costly, but per student, how much do it cost for me to host this class, right? So also think about what training center that you're under, or what training site that you're under. And also remember this, y'all, you do not have to, if you in Ohio, you do not have to have a training center in Ohio. If you in Georgia, you do not have to have a training center in Georgia. Your training center could be anywhere, because remember, this American Heart Association is all around, okay? So remember that. Alright, my training center, for instance, is in Jersey, okay? I had a training center in Ohio. I had to leave them because they weren't trying to help me move up in the game. Alright, so I had to find somewhere. I had to search around, figure out the prices. So, with that being said, when I first started off, what I was charging, $65 for BLS, right? $4 was my cost for card. You have to pay for their card. But I also had to pay $25 per class for a roster fee. A roster is what the students sign when they come in. $25 per class, basically. That was the cut that my training site was getting from me. So off rent, $29 even for one student. I had, it didn't make sense for me to do more than, I couldn't really afford to do one-on-one classes. I had to do about 2 or 3 people to make a good profit, right? So the cards was only $4. That was the bang part. But I did have to pay $25 per class, right? So if I had one student, that's $29 altogether. Subtract what I charge, which is $65, right? That's a good little, $30. Also, are you going to give the book? Your American Heart Association, you have to provide them with the material. Or you can say, purchase the book before class. You can have them study, read, however you want to run your class, and then come to class, right? So now they bought the book, you don't have to worry about it. Me, I purchased the book because I know some people, they'll come in there with the book and some not. So I purchased the book. The BLS book, y'all, is $16. Okay? $16 for the book. So I got the book, $16 plus my card and a roster fee. How much money? So I already told you, just with the card and the roster fee alone, that's $30 that I'm making. Now subtract the book. I'm only made about $15-$14, right, from the class. So you gotta think about how much you gonna pay yourself an hour. That's a 4-hour class. If you want to pay yourself $20 an hour and you only charge one person $60, like, you already know you can't afford it. So think about everything that you put in. Do you buy waters? Look, I give away water. Everybody get a water, hand sanitizer, all the things. How much each dollar you want to put it in? Add it up. One student gonna cost me this much. How much it costs for that car, how much it costs for that bottle of water, how much it costs for that hand sanitizer, that pen that you gave, all that stuff, and how much I'm gonna charge. What's my profit? That's how you balance that down. So not only do you look around to what everybody else charging, but you also gotta say, all right, this is where I want to be, and this is why. Or if you just want to go higher, I'll charge $85 because I'm giving the book and this and that. Okay, so just know what you're charging and why you're charging it. You could even call around to them and act like, you're taking a class. Oh, I see your class is $65. How long is the class? Do I get a book? You can ask those questions so that you can know how to compete. Okay, they don't give a book. Then maybe I'm going to give a book, right? So now you should go a little higher than them, but you don't have to buy nothing. All you got to do is show up to class. A lot of people like that. Just show up to class, you good. I got you, right? Now my new training center that I go to, and the one in Jersey, my cars is a little higher, but I don't have to pay a roster fee. So I did go up on my prices anyway because it was the next year. So now I charge $75, right? So $75. My BLS, still talking about BLS. My BLS cards are $10, right? No roster fee. I don't gotta pay nothing, but it's just $10 per person. I know. So if I got 3 people, that's $30 for their card, right? So one person, I know I gotta pay $10. My class is $75. My profit is $65, right? Plus my book, $16, right? My profit is still a good $50, right? So just think about, now my cars are higher, but I still did my research and I still added it up, and I see, what, the cars might be higher, but it still work out for me because my profit is a little bit higher, and also it still gave me the opportunity, me switching gave me the opportunity to move up and make more money, because now I have become a training site where I can teach other people how to be instructors and how to get in the CPR game and make money in this healthcare field, right? So now I can offer my assistance to other people and I'm able to make more money, whereas I wasn't doing that, with my other training center. So I had to exit, right? So, each class kind of use that. So even with the CPR first aid, I don't do a first aid, and I usually do a CPR first aid together. I rarely do just the first aid class or just the CPR class because it's the same amount of the card. First aid class is a 2-hour class, but the card is still $25. Yes, the card is extremely expensive. Look, you like, how did you go from $10 to $25? Even at my old training center, my BLS card was $4. My CPR or first aid card was $20. So those cards, for whatever reason, I think I kind of know why, because usually once you get into this business, you're going to notice that a lot of your customers is going to come from the BLS. because all our healthcare providers, they need their CPR, right? And they take BLS, so it's a little cheaper. Whereas CPR first aid, that's more the daycares, the factories, right? So when you do those are more so contracts. So really it's worth your while to do those classes with the daycares and the factories, because you're going to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, right? How much money you bringing in? Now you probably kind of get a whiff of how much money you're going to be giving American Heart Association, right? So they want their cut of that too, because like I said, usually if you get those CPR and first aid classes, it's usually going to be from the contracts, from the factories, from the group homes, like the places, like the job is going to be providing, you know what I'm saying, that payment for that, so you're going to get your money. So I think that's why, I'm not sure, but for instance, CPR first aid, like I said, I do those classes together because the CPR card itself, $25. The first aid card itself is $25, and CPR first aid card is $25. So why not just do it together? Alright, that's a 6-hour class, y'all. So think about your time too. I look around. The lowest I probably seen was 75, is 85, 95, 125 is probably the highest I seen. So I went with 95, right? 95 minus the card is 25. How much is that? $70 profit, right? Now the books for CPR first aid is only $3. $70 profit minus $3, that's $67 profit, right? I let them keep the book. It's a workbook. We work in a book. So you're making good money. So you're making about $60. Your actual profit will be like about $60 per student. Add that up. Alright. When you talk about classes like, let me give some, like if you do bloodborne pathogens class, no card cost, straight teaching, how many hours ever you want to do it. I mean, not how many ever. It's a 2 to 3 hour class. But if you charge $35, you don't have to pay for a card. So that's all your profit. $25, $35, $45. Alright, I'll say that just for your time. If we have like a friends and family class, alright, that class, the book only costs $2, right? A little less than that. You don't have to have a card. You could just print out, go to your instructor, AHA Instructor Network, and find a certificate. It's American Heart Association. Say you completed this friends and family course, so they know CPR, and it's just basically for lay people. It got its own DVD. I love that DVD. I don't know, because it gets straight to the point. It's pretty much for people who, they don't know nothing about CPR. So you play that, teach them everything, right? And you could charge whatever you want, but just know that you just gonna print them out a certificate. So whatever is your profit, that's all your profit, because you don't have to pay nothing per student except for like the book. $2 for the book, right? A class like that, sometimes for the community, I do it for free, just as a marketing. So then you can get it out there. Hey, we doing free CPR, but you gonna have your people that say, "Oh, free CPR, let me come." The ones that need it for their job. Got you. Come on, sign up. Or we can learn it right here on the spot. It just depends on how you market it. If you do it like free CPR class in the park or whatever, you could teach them it, and then. That's why I always teach thoroughly, no matter if it's just a $20 class, a free class, or a $90 class. Like, I give full information, right? So have them come on in. If they need a card, they say, "Oh, I need it for my job." Oh, this was, a friends and family course we give for certificate. But if you need something for your job, the cost is this, and blah, blah, blah. You can use that as your marketing tool. All right? So I hope that answered a little bit of your question of how much should I charge when I'm opening a CPR business, or just any other business. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, still use that technique. Look around, call around, figure out what it's going to cost you per student. Alright, and if you want to hear more about me or see more about me, you can check me out, Anicia L. Anderson, on YouTube. Dedicated Care Hearts is our training site. Check us out. All right. Holla.